Quiet.
Mr. President-elect,
Go ahead.
can you state
She's asking a
categorically,
question. Don't
Mr.
be
President-elect, can you give us a question?
Don't be
You are
rude.
attacking us. Can you give us a question?
Don't be rude.
Can
No,
you
I'm
give
not
us a
going to give you a
question?
question. I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
Sir. I'm Dr. Dave Janda. Welcome back to Dave versus the MSM. Thank you for joining me today, and thank you for networking this information. And needless to say, the content on the social media platforms across the board has been and continues to be significantly suppressed. Now, for years, I had a Twitter channel. I was taken down off of Twitter on January 8th, 2021 for saying that this was the freedom-stripping virus that adversely affected the 2020 election. I was taken down. I appealed dozens of times. That Dr. Dave Janda channel remains suspended. So what we've done is, with the help and support of a number of folks, we've reestablished a different channel, lost the tens of thousands of followers I had there, and have reinstituted a new channel on Twitter. It's called Operation Freedom, as the same name as the radio show we've been doing for 14 years. Now, the handle is at OP, 2_, freedom. And please follow along on Twitter. I do post some videos there and some commentary. In addition, you might have noticed several weeks ago that I was not posting on YouTube. That was because my IT team had taken the time and effort to... I recently had interviewed Dr. Peter McCullough, a close friend of mine, and an incredible warrior on bringing forward the truth. We did an interview which was posted for our subscribers, and then our subscribers said, "This is so important and so good, Dave. Please make it available to the public," and it is free at davejanda.com. I encourage you to go there, because we talked about the last 5-year experiment and what's on deck. We, the IT team and myself, had a 1-minute kind of highlight little film that we put up on YouTube. Within minutes, it was taken down. I was awarded a strike and not allowed to post for a period of time. So don't think that I abandoned the YouTube platform, although, look what they've done. They've decimated this channel, the YouTube channel. Now, granted, it's fraudulent numbers they give you on view counts. It's fraudulent numbers they give you on likes. It's fraudulent numbers they give you across the board. Comments, it's ridiculous. But kind of a thumb in my eye to them as I just keep doing these. Now, today, in particular, we're going to talk about the United States of Banana Republics. That's what we've morphed into, and have actually morphed into for decades. I've put this forward that we were a banana republic based on what was happening with the takedown of our system in our country. Many people blew me a lot of grief for that over the years. Okay. But what happened in New York over a 6-week time period, and in particular with the ending of that trial, or goat rodeo, or whatever you want to call it, many people who had called me a conspiracy theorist, a fearmonger, for pointing out the fact that the United States had devolved into being a banana republic, have since come back to me and said, Dave, I thought that, you were off the rails with this. But in fact, Dave, you were, again, ahead of the curve. And in fact, we are a banana republic. I go to Frank Zappa, the musician. And this has always been a quote on our webpage at davejanda.com, where there's significant amount of content, huge amount of content I cannot go into on any social media platform or on the radio because of the choke points in the FCC controlled by the cult. That's why that information, the most important in-depth information, is housed on a very secure website that costs us many thousands of dollars every month to maintain, to keep it secure and to keep people who come there secure, at davejana.com. Here's what Zappa said, quote, "The illusion of freedom will continue as long as it's profitable to continue the illusion. At the point where the illusion becomes too expensive to maintain, they'll just take down the scenery, they'll pull back the curtains, they'll move the tables and chairs out of the way, and you'll see the brick wall at the back of the theater," end quote. Well, for many people, millions of people, they finally saw the brick wall at the back of the theater when the verdict was rendered in that goat rodeo trial in New York. That's what it took. Many people in the People's Republic of Ann Arbor have come to me and say, you know, Dave, I don't like Trump. But what they did to him, imagine what they could do to any of us. You see, the cult went a bridge too far with their lawfare agenda. And now, even though those with their eyes just almost soldered shut have been awakened. You know, about 100 years ago, a very famous justice in England, Lord Gordon Hewart, stated, quote, "Justice should not only be done, but should be manifestly and undoubtedly be seen to be done." You see, the justice believed that even a small allegation of possible bias by a court clerk, let alone a judge, meant justice was not seen to be done and thus was not done. That's exactly what happened. We're seeing a boomerang effect. On the radio, on my radio show, and if you don't listen, it's free. Every Sunday from 2 to 5 Eastern, you listen live, go to davejana.com. If you want the podcast, commercial free, they're part of our subscription content, of which we do 5 other shows, video format shows a week, all for 30 cents a day. Biggest bang for the buck in all the internet. davejana.com. Become part of our premium service content service. You'll be happy you did. We put you months, years, in some cases decades ahead of the curve. Elon Musk came out and said regarding this goat rodeo of a trial, "Great damage was done today to the public's faith in the American legal system. If a former president can be criminally convicted over such a trivial matter, motivated by politics rather than justice, then anyone and everyone is at risk of a similar fate." The clip I play of a New Yorker who doesn't like Donald Trump on the radio show about, you know what, I don't like him, but I'm going to vote for him because this should not be done. This is not our country. No, it's not, but it hasn't been our country for an extended period of time. It's just that people didn't want to admit it. They didn't want to face up to what's been happening. It's very similar to when, for 32 years, I practiced surgery on the front line of healthcare delivery. And one of the hardest tasks I had was when test results came in to go into a room and tell a patient, inform a patient that the results were indicative that they had a very bad condition such as cancer. there's several reactions I would get. One was anger. I get it. I'd be angry too. Mad. I don't believe this. I'm leaving. I'm walking out that door. Second is heartache, where both that person and myself would shed a tear. Tears, plural. But the people who were survivors said, all right, I don't like this. I don't want to believe it. What do we do to fix this? Part of becoming a survivor, a big part, is recognition of the condition at hand. Too many people want to sit on the couch and wait. They know there's something wrong, but they're just going to wait for that plan. They're going to wait for that white hat to knock on the door and say, it's fixed. Those people aren't going to be survivors. No, you see, folks, the key is identifying an issue and then dealing with it. So while some were playing the, oh no, this isn't happening bit, the quote, this is insanity. This is the other side of the equation. Identifying the problem. This is insanity. Judge in the Trump case that used an unbelievable jury instructions, he could see where this was going. This merchant character, this bought and paid for, can't even call him a judge, political hack, just told jurors that they do not need to have a to unanimously agree on what crime Trump is guilty of to find him guilty. Well, this is absolute insanity, stated Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey in response to what was occurring. And then what did occur is, because there were biased juror instructions and undoubtedly biased jurors, Trump is found guilty of 34 felony counts of falsifying business records after prosecutors, this is from Kinsey Crowley, convinced the jury he disguised hush money reimbursement and legal expenses. Yet they never identified what the crime was. Hush money, by definition, if a lawyer is involved and a non-disclosure agreement is created and both sides sign off on it, might not like it, but it's a legal action. I'm not hiding anything. It's a transaction. Now, you can call into question, why would Donald Trump be in the same zip code as a porn whore, as Stormy Daniels, when he's married to Melania? Now, there's a good question. Why are you spending 1 second with somebody trash like her when you have Melania? But that wasn't it, the issue at hand. The issue at hand is that you're guilty of fraudulent hiding. No, he didn't hide anything. There were 11 checks, 11 invoices from his lawyer documenting what it was about, and 12 entries on an accounting ledger. Nobody was hiding anything. No one said it wasn't for the money, the payments to the lawyer regarding the non-disclosure agreement. Plus, Stormy Daniels had authored 2 letters that she signed saying she never had an affair with Trump. And it got to the point where this bananic republic of a just, J-U-S-T, dash us, not justice, just us system became so apparent and so untenable to even some of the most diehards of globalist hacks. They just couldn't take it. CNN senior legal analyst Ellie Honig, former Democratic activist and an assistant to Bragg, the DA that was prosecuted, came out and said, oh, no. This was a political hit. And listed a number of reasons, including the judge in this case, that had donated money to anti-Trump organizations and pro-Biden operations. About Bragg's beyond conflict of interest in this. About the charges and how they were on the, quote, outer boundaries of the law and due process. That the charges were obscure and unprecedented. That the DA inflated misdemeanors past the statute of limitations and electroshocked them to life. This Honig's own statements. The fact that the DA, quote, refused to specify what those unlawful means actually were. Quote, in these key respects, the charges against Trump aren't just unusual. They're bespoke, seemingly crafted individually for the former president and nobody else. And he went on to say the Manhattan DA's employees, of which he had been one, reportedly have called this the zombie case because of various legal infirmities, including its bizarre charging mechanism. But it's better characterized as the Frankenstein case, he states, cobbled together with ill-fitting parts into an ugly, awkward, but more or less functioning contraption that just might ultimately turn on its creator and crow. Well, it actually already is. Because the vast majority of the public, huge margin, has said, no. This is reminiscent of a banana republic, not the country that we grew up in. President Trump said that it's rigged and it was a disgrace, and that the real verdict will be on November 5. Yeah. So now we wait for the sentencing on July 11th by this political whore of someone who thinks he's a judge. Many people say, well, Trump's going to jail. I'm not a betting man, but I'll put my chip on the table here. You see, I believe this has boomeranged already to such a great degree. What, President Trump raised $300 million within a couple days? And there's all this outrage around the country. Not just in suburbia no. Look at the inner cities. My friends in the police forces in Chicago and Detroit and New York have all told me the same thing. And they don't know each other. That on the street, in the urban centers, folks are like, nah. They're treating him like they treat us. You know what? He's one of us. This is boomeranged already to a huge degree. So many people are saying, this Mershon guy, whose daughter, by the way, raises money for anti-Trump folks. And Mershon's wife is involved in anti-Trump activity. And Mershon himself, although a judge is not supposed to donate to political causes, donated to pro-Biden, anti-Trump causes. I don't think the judge is going to sentence him to Rikers Island. You see, I think this Mershon has already had visitors from the cult. He said, listen, buddy, this show trial has backfired immensely. Cut it out. He's raising all kinds of money. The urban centers are going big for him now. What are you? You're not going to send him to jail. You send him to jail? Oh, forget it. No, I think what they're going to do is they're going to come out and say, well, because we care about the process and we're just so turn the other cheek. No, but this is what they're going to say. We'll sentence him to home confinement. Let's call it confinement. Home confinement, which will be fine for Trump because, one, it's actually protective for him, where some lone individual run by, I don't know, you name the agency, CIA, would do something to him. So it keeps him actually under wraps a little bit. Mar-a-Lago, Trump Tower, Bedminster Golf Club, whatever it might be, And in this day and age, now this would be a political death sentence, if you will, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. But with Zoom and Skype, he could hold 10 events at the same time. And he'd have hundreds of thousands of people at each event. Yeah. Technofrog, a former federal prosecutor, said the following: the target might have been Trump, but the real goal was to influence the 2024 election. No matter the shaky facts and dubious legal theories of the case, democracy must be saved even through unlawful and unethical means as applied by the cult. The enemies of society must be hunted, the obstacles to progress must be destroyed. Well, this third world business, Banana Republic appearing system, is not only not playing well, but people have had it. And they're not going to take it. They don't want to be part of a third world system. And they're lashing out. They're exposing the cult. It's what all of us have been doing and need to keep doing. You want to talk about hiding things? Let's go back to 2022. From Ben Kesslin, Clinton campaign and the DNC. This would be Hillary Clinton from the 2016 campaign. Yeah. Fined by the FEC. Now remember, the Federal Election Commission, run by Biden appointees, and Mueller's own group of pet rats, decided not to prosecute Trump on this hush money issue because they looked at it and said we don't have to like it, but it was done legally. There was a non-disclosure agreement, both parties signed. There were entries about what this money was going for. It wasn't paid with campaign funds. Hey, we don't like it, but we can't prosecute. There is no federal crime we could charge. That didn't stop Bragg making stuff up and trying to take misdemeanors and rope them into a crime that nobody's been able to really put forward what that crime is. But we'll just vote him guilty anyway. But the same FEC that said Trump, there's no legitimate reason to prosecute him, said that Hillary Clinton and her campaign in the DNC violated election laws. And then the question is, well, if they violated election laws, was there a indictment? No. Was there a trial? No. Was there a hearing? Was there a conviction? No. The commission ruled, this is against Hillary, it had found probable cause that both the Clinton, her campaign, and the DNC had violated election law. Yet, no criminal charges, no trial, no sanctions, no sentences, no prison. The Federal Election Commission has fined both Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential campaign and the Democratic National Committee for lying about how they spent money used to fund the now fraudulent Steele dossier on former President Donald Trump. They funded the Steele dossier, which was the basis for the Russian collusion hoax, through the campaign. They put it as legal fees when it wasn't legal fees. It was opposition research, opposition lies to win an election. And the FEC ruled on that. The Clinton campaign and the DNC will be forced to pay $8,000 and $105,000 respectively for, quote, mislabeling payments that ultimately went to Fusion GPS, the consulting firm that commissioned the dossier, according to FEC documents. The Clinton campaign and the DNC paid more than $1 million combined and engaged Fusion GPS to dig for dirt on Trump, created a fraudulent document which was the basis for the Russian collusion hoax. The Fusion GPS, with that money, hired British spy Christopher Steele, whose namesake dossier included allegations that were fraudulent and false. The FEC said Clinton and the DNC claimed the money given to hire Fusion GPS, was reported on disclosure forms as having gone toward legal advice and services rather than what it really was creation of fraudulent opposition research. The commission ruled it had found probable cause that both Clinton and the DNC had violated election law by not being, quote, sufficiently specific, end quote, about the purpose of the payments and not including detailed information about Fusion GPS in the disclosure form. Yet, when Trump and his attorneys easily and willfully provide, oh no, you're guilty. Guilty of what? Well, we're just going to say you're guilty. Banana Republic. The same FEC that ruled that Trump's payment to his attorney regarding Stormy Daniels was not a violation of campaign finance laws ruled that Hillary Clinton and the DNC were guilty. No charges, no trial, no indictment, no prison, no jail, no. The hallmark of a banana republic. And the justice system has devolved to the point of this banana republic that the first felony conviction of a president was for essentially misclassification, even though there wasn't misclassification, of a payment to a porn whore. As opposed to myriads of other indictments for old man Bush, young Bush, Clinton, Obama, for a multitude of issues. You know, the droner-in-chief, Obama, killing innocent American for, right? Did he get How about Obama and Biden for their Fast and Furious operation, running drugs to the cartels that were then run around the world, and border agents dying, and Jaime Sabata, Victor Avila, one of our friends in the DEA, his partner getting killed down in Mexico with weapons used, or those weapons being funneled into Benghazi and funneled into the Middle East. Huh? I mean, there's a multitude of indictments, and this demented puppet currently wandering around the Oval Office. I mean, my gosh. About, I don't know. I mean, just the money laundering activity with China, Russia, Ukraine, Middle East countries, probably every country. They laundered into his pockets and his family pockets. That alone, right? No. So how do we jettison the banana republic and try to restore our constitutional republic? A house cleaning. And the house cleaning starts with you and me being relentless and bringing information to all those we know and love, and maybe even some people we don't even like, and educating them and empowering them and having them open their eyes into what is at hand. Because, frankly, and remember, one political party, the Republicans, owned and operated by a criminal syndicate, 99.9% of all those, and I use this term loosely, representatives in the federal system, the state level, and the local level are all bought and paid for, and they need to go. They need to be replaced in the election. There's a handful that are good, that are honest. A handful. And I'm sure you can name them in your community, who the local person is, if there is one, or at the state level, or at the federal level. They're easy to pick out. But the key is educating others as far as what's going on. And that we don't have to stand for it. House cleaning. Holding their feet to the fire of truth, honesty, integrity, and the rule of law. Anyone not willing to admit that we're in a banana republic is part of the problem and not part of the answer. One easy way, go to a town hall meeting. Do you believe our country is more reminiscent of a banana republic at this point based on what's happening with our Just Us system, just to name one side of this? Or are we a constitutional republic? Oh, we're a constitutional republic. Wrong answer. You're gone. We're getting somebody to replace you. Hold their feet to the fire. Peacefully. But accountability is what they dread. Accountability to what's happening. If they're in office now, they're part of. They've allowed this to happen some way, shape, or form. Call them out. They hate that because it makes them do things that hurts the very people that put them in office. Their handlers, their banking family handlers. It's up to us, and it can be transformed back from the current United States of banana republics to a constitutional republic. It's up to us. No sitting on the couch. Nope. Time's a-wasting. I thank you for your time today. Until next time, Dave Janda signing off. Dream big and dare to fail. Thanks for your time today.